Welcome to beautiful Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, the site of the 2023 Pan American Ultimate Championships. We've got the Masters Open title game unfolding before us here, just moments away. It's a battle between Still from Canada and Join or Die from the United States. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, Ian Toner. Privileged to be joined by McLeod's Josue Soto. Josue, a great matchup here between two great programs in the Masters Open division. What are your expectations coming into this one?
Well, I do expect a lot of good touch on the disc. I mean, there are experienced guys. They know what to do. They have played the whole week. They know the wind. They know the conditions. So I do expect a lot of intensity, but really smart plays and not moving the disc on crazy shots. So we will expect a very, very intense game, I'm pretty sure.
The wind has picked up all afternoon here at this complex, as it's done every afternoon throughout this tournament. And it'll be interesting to see how these teams can handle these throws and the windy conditions as we get set for the opening pull. And that team in blue right there, Join or Die, comprised of players from Philadelphia, North Carolina, Delaware, and Maryland, getting set to start this game. And they will be attacking from right to left across your screen. Blue made it here in this championship game by beating King Louis 14-11 in the semifinals in the round immediately preceding this one. If you were tuning into our Mixed Masters Championship game coverage, Still got here by beating All Bashed Out in the other semifinal during the same round. That was a 13-10 victory for the Canadians, who are comprised largely of guys from Ottawa, but plenty of other pickups from around Canada. And again, here's a look at that bracket. There were two pools in the Masters Open division, and the top two finishers from each pool went straight into that semifinal setting. And Still beating All Bashed Out 13-10, Join or Die beating King Louis 14-11, averting a rematch of a game that we saw in pool play that went down to the wire, with King Louis beating Still 15-14. That was Still's only loss of the tournament to date.
All bashed out group was really, really intense. I know that as a fact, since Domino, the Dominican Masters team, was there too. And they got a triple tied. And they went to goal average to actually untied and have All Bashed Out moving forward.
Lots of drama here in the Dominican Republic as Still attacks from left to right across your screen in the white jerseys. Mike Lee, the leading producer, trying to send Bellavance to the end zone, but not enough touch on that one. And Steve Rosso picks up for Join or Die.
I actually traded a jersey with Rosso in Argentina in 2017.
Do you remember what jersey?
It was the Phoenix AUDO.
Oh, Philadelphia Phoenix, yeah. It's a colorful jersey.
It is the red one.
It looked like we had a turnover from Join or Die on its own goal line, and then it looked like we had a call that might have preceded or impacted the turnover, and now there's some conversation. Still ground checks it and brings it in. Again, this is a Still 0 point to start the Open Masters title game here in the Dominican Republic at the Pan American Ultimate Championships. Mike Lee with the stall count rising, resets, step through, and that is a goal. We've got a connection there between Jeff Lindquist and Bryce Ring, and Still with the dirty hold to get this game started.
For both teams, the team that maintains the disc in the middle the most and then attack from the middle to the sides are going to come up on the top, in my opinion. The wind is picking up really, really hard, and you could see it as Russo was trying to get off the end zone, and the disc just stayed there. And very, very good hold by Still.
Something we've noticed all tournament long is, the later in the day you get, the more intense the wind gets. And the wind pattern has pretty consistently been a crosswind. If you're looking on our screen from the roughly midfield cam, it's traveling across the field from that far sideline, the right-handed backhand sideline, down here to the bottom of your screen to your right-handed flick sideline. It makes those swings pop up, and it makes those trap situations especially tricky to get out of. So that wind in this shot and orientation would be gusting from right to left across your screen. And here's Sean Huynh on the pull for Still. This is our second of 6 championships here at the PAUC tournament. SOS from Seattle captured the mixed Masters championship earlier, as we see a deep shot going up from Rosso. He connects with Eric Gallagher, and Join or Die has a quick hold to tie this game at 1.
They said that cut so well that we can get on the replay, and it was so nice how patient the cutter was and waiting for Russo to get the disc, but then get the right separation for Russo to just launch that good backhand and helping himself with the win. As we can see right here, very good separation, very good read on the disc, and very nice way from Russo to use the win in his favor. I mean, it's blowing really, really hard this way, so we could definitely see it on that throw.
So Still and Join or Die battling here in the Masters Open title game. Join or Die started off the tournament with a 14-13 loss to Domino, and they responded with a 15-5 win over Urutau, and they beat NSOM 15-7. They beat Quack 14-9. They fell short against All Bashed Out in their last pool play game, and then pulled it together and beat King Louis 14-11 in the semis. Mike Lee with the disc for Still. Resets to Alexander. Disc floats over the hands of the intended receiver, Greg Ellis. And Join or Die with a chance to break here on the 3rd point of the game. Join or Die in the red zone now. Here's Brandon Pastor. Michael Steffen looking cross field. He's got his target, Eric Hoover, and that's the first break of this game. Join or Die with an early 2-1 lead.
If they keep applying that pressure on the handlers and have them throw those really around backhands, they're still going to be floating. Doesn't matter if you give that much of a touch into the throw. As we can see, just sail upwards. A very nice way to, again, maintain the disc in the middle and work from the middle, and then just finding his guy right away over there. And very nice field recognition to toe the line and secure the break.
Yeah, great footwork there from Eric Hoover to make sure his first points of contact landed in the end zone.
Ian, do you think we're going to see zones? I don't see that many zone looks on the Masters division.
So it was surprising, and was having this conversation with Malika Anderson during our Mixed Masters semifinal, I beg your pardon, championship game. It was surprising. We were at the second to last point before halftime until we saw the first team throw zone. I don't know if there's something about Masters throwers being really crafty to make zones effective, or what it is, but yeah, I haven't seen them throw it a bunch, so be interested to see which team decides to go that route first. Mike Lee sends a flick down the sideline, leads his receiver Thomas Black, who tumbles in the end zone and still responds with the hold after Join notched that first break.
I'm pretty sure this is not the first assist that we're going to see during this game from Mike Lee, and very, very good cut. I'm not that big of a fan, Ian, on the same third cuts. Just feel they're a little harder to put in front of the thrower,
of the runner. The margin is just so small.
Yeah, I always was told to divide the field in 3/3, and then as soon as you can throw from 1/3 to another, you're gonna have way more efficiency and more space for the thrower. So that's why when I always say, "Oh, that was a good cut," I'm just saying how good it's set up to the far side to actually give the thrower all that space to just put it in space, and I can attack it and score.
Someone's taught you ultimate fundamentals quite well, Josue.
I mean, I've learned from you as well too, watching your streams as well. But yeah, I've been fortunate enough to play with really, really good players like Joe Smash Anderson. And I mean, I'm pretty sure that I can just leave it at there because on that 2018,
Joe Smash the Don.
And congratulations for the Domino guys. They just beat Condor and got 7th on their division.
Okay.
And I'm very, very, very happy for their result.
Joe has picked up with Dominican and other international teams at the World Ultimate Club Championships and other tournaments in the past. And Join or Die, working offensively here, succumbs to a foot block. And it'll be a short field for Still as Antoine Genet picks up and fires off a swing. Quinn swings over to Dwayne Neal. Back to Genet, the inside flick. Goodness, that's a laser into this crosswind. Genet finds Davidson.
And if I'm not mistaken,
Still has its own break.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ian. But if I'm not mistaken, Antoine was the one that got that foot block.
Correct.
I'm going to look at that replay, but I'm pretty sure he was the one that got that foot block. And this is what I was talking about before the game started. That experience. You just got a really great defense. You know how important it is to get this break back. So as long as you maintain your cool, and yeah, he was Antoine. Look how fired up he is, and then as soon as he picks up the disc, he just switch his mentality to let me keep it cool and wait for that nice break cut and just execute.
So Still responds with its own break, gets this game back on serve. 3-2, the Canadians with an early advantage in the Masters Open title. Antoine Genet doing the heavy lifting for Still. The Canadians have a 3-2 advantage here in the Open Masters title game. And Join or Die receives to start the next point. Shoots deep pretty quickly. There's a poached defender there. And that poached defender, Carson Turner, gets to the spot and makes sure that disc falls incomplete. So Antoine Genet, who notched a foot block and an assist on the previous point, will jog back, bring this one up to his own goal line as we get another look at the huck. Great recognition by Turner, peeling off the back of the stack, helping to poach. and getting this break opportunity for Still. Janae tries to connect with Keelan Way, but no can-do on that one. Joyner Dye picks up in the red zone, throws up the line. That one works. The goal scorer there, Joyner Dye's Jesse Lieberman. And the Americans tie the game up at 3.
And just to remind everyone, since they both scored their own breaks, we're back on serve, and we're still in it. This game is apparently going to be a very tight game. It's going to be all about the small windows and just hitting them and taking advantage of swinging the disc off of that strong wind side. So yeah. What about junk looks, Ian? I know it's not a zone, but maybe working them unders as Still has not hugged the disc yet. Maybe probably have them to throw their hugs and put a lot of pressure on their handlers and just not giving away easy in cuts.
Yeah, I mean, anything we can do to disrupt a quick pull play or anything like that, I think both of these defenses are going to like, because all the old Masters guys want to do is get a quick 2-throw goal and get off the field. But I think junk looks can be disruptive. But we're seeing some pretty honest matchup defense here from Joyner Dye. Thomas Black comes underneath. Looking for Bellavance. He stays in bounds. Bellavance off the line. There's Greg Ellis. Nice inside to Bellavance. Dishy to Felix Dagg. And disc goes back to Bellavance, and a pick call stops play. Bellavance surveying his options and looking for the reset. He's got Felix Dagg. Inside, denied. That's a block from Joyner Dye's Matt Esser. Joyner Dye on the counterattack now. The pass for Esser, bit too far, and Felix Antoine Dagg walked over the disc. Decides that he'll let his teammate, Bryce Ring, pick it up here. You can tell Ring taking a second to make sure his offense is appropriately set. Lee gets the first under. Then it's Ellis. Back to Lee. Lee finds Lindquist. Lindquist pump faking, looking cross field. It's hanging, it's hanging. Ellis clap catches on the goal line and throws around the diving mark into the hands of Mike Lee. What a responsive play there from the Still offense with the stall count rising.
Let's go.
I mean, very, very, very good way to just keep his body between the disc and the defender. That way he made sure that as soon as the disc landed really close to him, he could make the play. Look, really nice way to use his body. And then Lee with the score. And yeah, we have a really, really tight game. Still back on serve. I want to take the time to send a special shout out to Nate Armstrong that is listening to this or watching this stream. I miss you, buddy, and I hope that you're killing it in Chicago, so make us proud.
Goal there from Mike Lee. The statistics portal had not updated after the semifinal victory for Still over All Bashed Out, who, of course, were the defending champions, having won the Masters Open title at PAUC in 2019 in Sarasota. Up until that point, Mike Lee was tied with Greg Ellis for the team goal-scoring lead at 10. And here's a huck from Join or Die. Too far for the intended receiver, C.J. Colicchio. Robert Roos trying to send that backhand, but underside of the disc exposed to the crosswind, which feels to be letting up a little bit here in this round, Josue.
I just feel like we're right at the beach right now. It's like the same wind that we got on the beach here in Dominican Republic. And to my surprise, I even got a little bit of a heat stroke, even though that I'm from here.
Genet uncorks the flick. It's hanging and off the fingertips of Matthew Berg. I beg your pardon, Matt Berg. And he called a foul on the defender, Robert Roos. And the two are having a conversation. Let's get another look at this one. Berg is going to go up and try and clap catch it. He drops it, and then Roos initiates the contact. So I think Berg's argument...
Dangerous play?
Could be dangerous play, could be inhibiting a second attempt as we listen in through the game advisor, Mike.
Okay.
I totally understand. But yeah,
okay.
I also think I could have gotten it again had I not been hit. Okay, yeah, I think so contest.
Okay. Foul contest. We're going to go back to where we were when the throw went up, please.
So you heard that there, Berg saying at the end of the conversation, I also think I could have gotten it again had it not been for the contact.
Okay.
You know, he did drop it, but there was enough wind underneath it that the disc was still fluttering. So the resolution here is a contested foul even after the game advisor stepped over. And so the disc goes back to Antoine Genet.
I mean, we're talking about the wind, Ian, but that huck went flying like we had nothing here. These guys experienced in throwing. They probably all played disc golf as well, too. So maybe that's why they have some really good throws on the wind.
Genet with the high release backhand finds Carson Turner and gets it back. Quinn back to Genet. Everything going through Genet now. He's got power position and a couple men streaking deep. Pump fakes. Opts to swing to Will Mercer. Quinn back to Davidson. Genet once again. Genet knifing inside. Blocked by Lieberman. Join or die on the counterattack now. Lieberman swings to Colicchio. Nice underneath there for Dustin Damiano, who pulls the trigger. And he's got his man in the end zone. That is Steve Rosso, who's involved in his third score of the game, tying this one up at 4. A lengthy, dirty hold for Join or Die. And Josue, as we just mentioned, Steve Rosso has been doing it all for Join or Die in the early stages here.
I mean, he can throw, he can defend, he can also grab some good scores, butting it out. But I just really like his composure on the throws as well, too.
Another look at that most recent score there for Join or Die. From Dustin Damiano to Steve Rosso. We are all tied up at 4. Each team has notched one break, so we are still on serve. Still did receive to start the game. Championship game and all games here at this tournament played to 15. Halftime cap coming at 55-0 minutes. That only matters if the leading team hasn't reached 8 after 50 minutes of time have elapsed. This countdown clock on your score bug here has been counting down from 90 since the opening pull, and the full game cap going into effect at 90 minutes and is the whiff diff +1 cap, so teams must score to win the game.
Yep.
Bellavance finds Ellis. Here's Lee. Ellis takes off, but Lee resets. Swing goes over to Alexander. Lindquist pulls the trigger right away. Lee's going. Can he stay in bounds? The bottom falls out of it, but he adjusts and gets his hand underneath it before the disc hits the grass. Lindquist to Lee. Stills back on top.
As the wind was just changing directions, it looked like it was just gonna bottom down that disc. That's why we have a saying in Dominican Republic that in the trust, there's danger. When you get too confident sometimes. I mean, it happened yesterday against Blue Devil versus Pony as well too. Pony player got too confident and was celebrating before catching the disc, and then Rama from Colombia just ran him and just
that's right.
D him. In the trust, there's danger.
Lots of focus required in these windy conditions, as Mike Lee with 2 goals already for the Canadians. The Still squad, they did win the Canadian Ultimate Championships Open Masters Division back in 2022. The international tournament, the Masters Championships in Ireland last summer, Still took 5th. And Join or Die, competing most recently at USAU Masters Nationals, they took 9th at that tournament in 2023, and back in 2022 they took 5th. Disc center to Jesse Lieberman. Gets it over to Brandon Pastor. Here's CJ Colicchio. Colicchio hucking to Esser. Esser legging it out. Clap catch for number 10.
I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the first setup on keeping the disc on the far forehand side when we're going in your screen left to right. As you can see, all those hugs coming from the closer line or the home side, which is the backhand side from that left to right direction, they're all going to be really, really strong because the wind is blowing really, really fast here. But I think they're taking advantage of that wind and just putting those throws as soon as their cutter has separation.
And Matt Esser gave us a great little demonstration with his celebration. You could see him just macking the disc, and that disc was not falling to the turf right away. There was such intense crosswind underneath the face of that disc, underneath the lip, that he could just keep macking it and it would maintain its height in the air. And so that shows you, A, how strong that crosswind is, and B, never give up on one of those discs that gets macked or touched or deflected, because you never know how long it's going to stay up in the air. And thank you to our crew quantifying the impact of the wind here. 84 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 mile an hour winds here outside Punta Cana. Ian Toner, lucky to be here with Josue Soto. This is our second of 6 finals coming to you live on Ulti World. Deep shot from Bellavance. He's got Lindquist. And Still regains its lead.
These guys are such good throwers. It's just the touch, the spin that they put on their disc lets their guy actually go chase the disc. And it's what I was mentioning earlier, Ian. Did you see he cut from the opposite third where he threw the disc, which gave him all that space to just run down and be by himself.
It's great recognition. The more margin that you can give your thrower, the better it becomes for the offense. So Join or Die.
Okay.
Getting set to receive here. the Canadians will pull into the slightly diagonal crosswind. Antoine Genet on the pull once again. He's demonstrated his defensive prowess and his throwing prowess many times over in today's competition. Disc centered once again to Lieberman.
I like the side stack look or setup.
And you saw some sagging in the lane. That was close to the junk set that maybe you were asking for earlier, Josue. Dustin Damiano with the disc now. Damiano gets it up line in power position. Opts for the underneath to Colicchio. Nice gainer there to Eric Gallagher. Swing to the middle. Damiano sending his man Andre Martinez to the end zone. That is textbook red zone offense. Martinez with his first goal of the contest. Damiano with his second assist of this championship game. So join or die. Keeping things on serve here with the hold. 6-6 in the Masters Open Championship game. Of course, tomorrow we've got the Masters Women Final, the Open Final, the Women's Final, and the Mixed Final. All of those coming your way live on Ultiworld tomorrow from the Dominican Republic. Disc centered to Felix Antoine Dag, and here you go, Josue. It's the first zone point that we've seen here in this Masters Open Final.
It looks like we have the classic 3-3-1. The cup, two wings, one short deep, and then the deep deep.
Lee, Bellavance, and Lindquist making light work of that. Dag involved too, but appears that we may have had a travel call coming from number 13, Bryant Dean, on Join or Die, the game advisor, coming in for a conversation.
I think too many steps before the throw.
I'm not going to be able to count the number of steps, unfortunately, from that distance. So I can't provide you with perspective on that. I apologize. That's just not. Yeah, for sure. We can do rule stuff for sure.
Let's say he did 4 steps.
Catches
Yeah.
it 1,
Okay.
2, 3. He releases that on his
Okay.
third step. It didn't look like a change of direction or acceleration to me.
Yeah, I didn't see any travel there.
So the rule is, if you don't establish a pivot, then by the third footfall, you have to release the disc.
And I think there
1,
I
2,
think there are
3,
more than 3
and that's out before the fourth footfall.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Great.
Are you
Thank
seeing
you.
the same thing, Josue?
Okay.
Yeah, I am.
All right. Great.
I think it's gonna stay.
Okay. Yeah. Great. All right. So we're coming back. Did we have a count? I assume.
no count.
Okay. Everybody where they need to be.
If
Let me
the
step
rule
out,
set
please.
says
Let him step out. You're
has to be
going to have a
before the
self-check. I
third
would assume he's
footfall,
not close
then
enough, so self-check.
he did release it after the third footfall, so that would be a fair travel call. Thanks to the game advisor and our entire production crew for the help clarifying there, but travel call or not, doesn't matter. Greg Ellis finds Mike Lee a couple throws later, and still with the 7-6 advantage.
Okay. I'm saying that I just took. We're good.
So Lee connecting with Black earlier in the game, and he's continued to light up the stat sheet for Still.
Really great job on knowing that he's the main guy on this team. And as soon as he keeps his composure, we're going to keep looking at these really, really good plays. And he's just the anchor of this team. It's really, really nice to watch him play.
Mike Lee, three goals, 1 assist, and a turnover so far here in the title game. Antoine Genet pulling for Still. And Dustin Damiano fielding for Join or Die. And centering Jesse Lieberman. Steven Rosso initiating. Stoppage here. This is an 0.4 Join or Die. Still could break to take half. Lieberman sending it to the end zone for Damiano. What a defensive effort there. That's Matt Hogel getting horizontal for the block and doing it safely too.
He really knows what's at stake. They're about to get that break for half. Really, really good job, and even on avoiding contact as well too, and a great bid.
So Antoine Genet will bring this disc in on his goal line, and the Still D-line offense will set up in a pretty shallow horizontal stack. Got a poach in the lane from Join or Die. And now the American defenders settle back into their assignments. Disc in the hands of Carson Turner. Gets it back over to Genet. Genet in power position, steps back to the backhand, uncorks it, it's traveling, 2 defenders miss it. Would you look at that sequence? What a turn of events. Dwayne Neal legs out the huck, finds Matt Berg, and the block getter is rewarded with bookends.
Wow. What a throw. I mean, his setup was incredible. And, I mean, of course, the wind helped him a little bit on getting that disc up. But really, really great job on that receiver, on knowing that it was going to go over the top for them. So he didn't go for that play and waited and then just easy score. And this is a very, very, very important break because they just broke for half.
Here's another look at Genet getting the disc in right-handed flick power position, throwing the fake, stecking back across to his backhand.
Look how low he got.
Oh my goodness, you're right. And 2 defenders from Join or Die, just kind of flailing and whiffing. And Dwayne Neal connecting with Matt Berg, and he is fired up as the Canadians have an 8-6 lead on the Americans' Join or Die here at halftime. Ian Toner with Josue Soto. This is the 4th and final broadcast of today's coverage, the second championship game. And as we look back at the first half statistics, Josue, the floor is yours, but what jumps out to me is that 1 break advantage for Still.
I mean, that's definitely going to be the game right now. Who's going to take advantage of the other mistakes, and the team that makes the less mistakes as well too. I mean, I know it sounds very common, oh, that's so easy to say, the one that makes less mistakes, but I mean, this is going to be a mental game, but as well too of knowing how your body is reacting to what is happening right now.
Despite the win, just 11 total turnovers in that first half, and we are lucky to be joined right now by Still's Antoine Genet, the man who had the cannon on that deep huck right before halftime. Antoine, tons to ask you about. I want to take you back through that defensive sequence. What cued you in for the opportunity to kind of stick that leg out and notch that early foot block?
It's more instinct than play. I know they want to go. They want to go hard. We scout them a little bit. They're playing the long game. They're very good at it. So we got there aggressive on the mark, and I'm pretty happy I got a piece of it. And yeah. That's basically it.
Phenomenal defensive play there. And then after the turnover, all game long, you've kind of been that centerpiece, quarterbacking everything on the counterattack. What's your defensive, your D-line offense's philosophy as you're looking to convert those breaks?
It's been a long tournament. Everybody's tired, and we just assume that we're less tired than they are, so we want to run them down. We want to run every second of the point, and if the open deep look open, so I'm happy to take them.
Well, Antoine, Josue right here, I just really want to ask you, how much of a factor has been the win right now? I mean, not to you, of course, because we have seen some really good throws, but you guys are on the field. Like, how much of a factor do you think it's playing?
I think it plays a big factor today, especially because there were not a lot of wind yesterday and the day prior, so we had to adjust today. We really need to think before we throw, so you cannot just you really need to be in your throw when you do it. So yeah, it's a big factor.
Antoine, as you look ahead to the second half, what do you think the most important area of focus is for this Still squad?
We need to keep going. We have to keep grinding. Our whole line look good right now. They are they keep the disc alive. They keep possession. So if they keep the good work, we'll try to grind and help them. And full half to go, so we can't stop.
Antoine, thanks so much for your time. Get back over there to that halftime huddle. That's Antoine Genet of Still with an assist, a hockey assist, and a block in the first half. The second half of the Masters Open Championship coming your way live on Ultiworld. Ian Toner and Josue Soto, privileged to have the call for you.
Middle of the field, Sean McDougal says, give me that.
What a play there from the Atlanta Hustle as they go up one.
What a moment here in Minnesota.
Join or die, attacking deep in the first half, but still, thanks to the excellent defensive and offensive performance from Antoine Genet, with an 8-6 one-break lead as we get set to start the second half here in the Dominican Republic. Ian Toner and Josue Soto on the call for the Masters Open Championship. As still from here's Dustin Damiano for Join or Die, trying to connect with Robert Roos on an initiation cut, but that disc falls incomplete. Inside break. Disc in the hands of Hyun. Hyun gives and goes. And turnover there from Still. Sean Chua. Join or Die hucks right away, but that disc doesn't come back in bounds, so Still is going to have stellar field position.
And from the side that the wind is blowing, so they're on the soft side of the wind, let's say.
And to be fair, the wind has also softened over the course of this game. It is not nearly as stiff, consistent, or gusty as it was earlier in the round, as this Still team doing a great job moving the disc laterally on the edge of the red zone and communicating on the sideline, move the disc back to the high side. Very intentional strategic focus there. Still's knocking on the doorstep. Oh, and that's bobbled and dropped. Matt Berg was attacking the cone. He did not secure possession inbounds, but is he calling a foul here?
Maybe he's going to argue that the defender prevented him for making an actual catch, which is stopping rotation and surviving two ground contacts.
So contested foul between Berg and Damiano. The disc will go back to number 6, Keelan Way, and Still will have the disc with a chance to break at the start of the second half.
He looks like he has a McLeod hat.
That's right, McLeod, the mixed team that Josue competed with. Keelan Way completed his reset to Sean Chua, but we have another call with the game advisor coming in.
Offensive foul was the call. And I pushed him as he was releasing the disc.
So, conversation unfolding between Keelan Way and Eric Gallagher.
For anyone watching WFDF game for the first time, remember that the game advisors can only give their own opinion.
Okay. All right. So that's not going to change. So we'll come installing 3. You said 2, sure. Right? Okay. Yep. We good? All right. Thank you. All right. Let's get the camera.
So Keelan Way will get us back in play, and that's a great point, Josue, for those of you more accustomed to watching USA Ultimate competition. These game advisors cannot issue binding rulings. They can only share perspective and rule clarifications. They don't make active calls like observers do. So Still with an early chance to break at the start of the second half. What could this do for the energy and the momentum in this game, Josue?
I mean, this will be a really important point, because that will mean that they are scoring right after the halftime. So it's a very, very, very important point that Still can make. And it's just starting to look like Join or Die, the Heat, and this being the last game of the tournament. It's starting to play out on the decisions that they're making. There might be some fatigue playing on right now on Join or Die. So
Join or Die huddling up there defensively, trying to establish its game plan. And still drawing up what it hopes is the perfect recipe to convert a break. Keelan Way will have the disc at stall 3 or stall 4. Gallagher on the mark. We are back at live action, and we have another call. Jesse Lieberman does not contest the foul call. Keelan Way gets us live again. Swings. Disc with Hogel. Looking for Way. Sean Chua dives too, but he can't get there, and a goal line stand for join or die. Rosso gets it right back in power position. Nice game, a give and go there with Brandon Pastor. Huge crossfield gainer. Gallagher on the doorstep. Stall cow rising. He's got Damiano. Back to Gallagher. Joyner die, survives the goal line stand. And they convert the dirty hold to start the second half. First goal, I beg your pardon, second goal of this championship game for Gallagher. And third assist for Dustin Damiano. Get another look at the red zone patience, just moving the disc laterally. And that one paying off for join or die. Our fourth and final broadcast of today from the Pan American Ultimate Championships live on Ultiworld. We'll have 4 championships coming your way tomorrow. The headliners of that one, the women's final at 1:30 local. That'll feature Revolution and Aerosol. And the men's final at 3:45 local, 2:45 Eastern. That'll be Comunidad El Oso from Colombia against the Blue Devils. And some physicality there. Mike Lee enduring a little body check, trying to secure possession and box out against the zone defender. Here's Lee. Felix Antoine Daga. Dag. Back to Ring. Here's Dag once again. Through the cup to Bellavance. Nice gainer to Lindquist. Bellavance. Mike Lee flips it up to Bellavance. And that's an easy finish for the Canadians. So still with a 9-7 lead here in the Masters Open Championship. This squad composed of gentlemen from the Ottawa area and around Canada. Just a fraction of the 1,790 athletes from 84 teams across 6 divisions here in Punta Cana at the 2023 Pan American Ultimate Championships. This is the World Flying Disc Federation's last and largest tournament of 2023. Their ultimate calendar kicked off in effect in July with the under-24 championships in Nottingham in the United Kingdom. Then there were the Asia Oceanic Ultimate and Guts Championships in September in Manila. There was the World Wheelchair Ultimate Championships in September in Italy. The All Africa Ultimate Championships in October in Kenya. And the World Beach Ultimate Championships, of course, in Huntington Beach, California in November. We'll get to see some champions from those groups. AJ Merriman and others competing tomorrow in the championship games. Merriman suiting up with the Blue Devils. Join or die on the attack here. Dustin Damiano finds Gallagher and gets it back. Lieberman. Pump fakes. Swings to Damiano. Here's Roos. Nice gainer to Eric Hoover. Colicchio. Swings to Lieberman and a stoppage. Lieberman ground checks and brings us back in play. Here's Colicchio. Another pick in the stack, called by, this time, Antoine Genet. Defenders reposition, and we're ready to resume play. Colicchio with the disc. Another pick call stops play. Disc still with Colicchio. Stall count rising now. Push pass to Lieberman. Inside flick, a little too hot from Lieberman. He had his eyes on Gallagher. Despite the bid, he couldn't get there. And Antoine Genet is on the counterattack. What a grab there from Will Mercer. He and Jesse Lieberman got to the same spot at the same time. And Mercer on the ground. As we get another look at this one, Genet looking at Mercer, Lieberman jumping the lane. And contact between Lieberman and Mercer.
It's very important to remind all of our spectators that if you need to make contact with a player to get up, to have a play on the disc, this is a foul.
Especially
it's
under
the same in USAU as well.
Yeah, especially under the World Flying Disc Federation rule set.
And I mean, USAU is a little bit more, they let you have a little bit more contact. But to me, that was definitely a foul.
Great. So we've got a strip, contested, and an injury. Can we get anything else?
Thanks to the game advisor, we
Thanks,
had
guys. Thank you.
So we had a contested strip
so we've got a sub, injury sub,
and an injury. I think was it Lieberman calling the strip on Mercer. I'm not positive, but the disc is going back. The disc is going back to Antoine Genet. And we're live. He swings to Davidson. Genet gets it back. Nice swing. Dropped by Carson Turner. Immediately defended by Felix Dag. And there's a foul call that in live action, I don't know that I saw any case for a foul.
Nothing. He was so clean on that play. But he's calling a strip, Ian.
And
he accepted.
Yeah, Brandon Pastor.
Defensive check when we're ready. Thank you.
What a cool breeze we have right now.
Yeah, this is nice. This isn't the blustery, unplayable condition as Pastor resets to Colicchio.
Russo.
Inside shot to Steve Rosso. And the dirty hold converted there by Join or Die.
Still just needs to pay attention. They're getting the blocks. They're getting the disc back. So as my coach says, Coach Judy.
So there's another look at the
I wish we could get another
strip
replay
from Dag. Colicchio stepping out and connecting with Rosso.
But yes, Coach Judy, who always say, I lost it. I'm sorry.
I'm sure she.
Such a pleasure to play under Judy Jarvis. Exist, and Gridlock has a great mind for ultimate.
So 9-8, still with the one break advantage here in the Masters Open Championship game. Michael Steffen on the pull for Join or Die. Felix Dag gets the disc back and swings to Bellavance. Big gainer from Lindquist. He got lucky. He slowed up in attacking that underneath and almost got blown up, but possession maintained by Still. And who else? Mike Lee scores another one for the Canadians.
Again, they are Still is recognizing that not as hard of a defense on the undercuts. So if you could have noticed, they all open up the field in the middle and just had that big in cut. It was probably around 25-30 yards of a gainer, and then just Lee going for that disc in a very good timing. And it's as Coach Judy was saying, you need to understand how precious the possession it is. Am I right, Coach Judy? And yeah, it is very precious, and that comes with patience. You have to maintain possession of the disc, especially when you get those discs back. So I really want to see some really good possession when they get this disc back from Still.
So Ken Alexander connecting with Mike Lee on that one, as we'll see what Join or Die can do to respond. Antoine Genet getting set to pull for the Canadians. Join still talking through its offensive strategy up until the moment the pull went up. And Rosso centers to Lieberman. Colicchio underneath. Sends it deep right away. Pastor chasing it down. That was a beautiful throw from CJ Colicchio.
I wouldn't be surprised if Join or Die starts using their deep game again. Kind of looks like they focused a lot on small ball. Wasn't working really well. And now...
So here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Were they being forced into that by Still's great defensive strategy and pressure, or were they consciously choosing to do that? That's almost unknowable, but what can you infer from what you've seen?
Very tough question, teacher Ian.
You're welcome.
Yeah, put me on the spot right here. But actually, on this point, they reacted to the defensive pressure from Still. It's like they've been listening to me into not letting those easy unders,
sure.
But they need to take care of the mark. Mm-hmm. They have some really good throwers, and if they don't put that flat mark, then the throws are going to come really easy.
Yeah, Antoine Genet mentioned in our halftime interview that they were familiar with Join or Die's interest in the long ball,
mm-hmm.
and they've done a good job containing it in the first half, but it's starting to heat up here in the second half. 2 assists in as many points for CJ Colicchio. And the Still offense comes back out on the field as Joel Bellavance walks the disc up to the brick mark. Felix Dag secures possession up to Ellis. Here's Mike Lee. Ellis back to Lee. Lee with the stall count rising, finds Ellis. Easy continue to Dag. Dag to Lindquist. Too easy for the Canadians. They love keeping that disc on the high side and constantly breaking the mark to the backhand side.
They know that if they swing it into that open side lane, they're going to be in trouble. It's going to be way harder to actually move the disc from this far sideline. So they're doing, as you said, Ian, a really, really good job on faking the foresight, staying in the middle, and then swinging it right away, as we can see right here. And then you just need one cutter to be late, quote, quote, late, because those break swings need that late cut.
Timeout on the field. The Canadians with a 2-goal advantage here in the Masters Open title game, live on Ulti World from the Dominican Republic.
Oh, he's getting the crowd going.
Middle of the field. Sean McDougal says, give me that.
What a play there from the Atlanta Hustle as they go up 1.
What a moment here in Minnesota.
Los Establos Polo Complex in Cap Cana, outside Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. The site of the 2023 Pan American Ultimate Championships. Antoine Genet pulling the disc for still here in the Open Masters title game. Ian Toner with Josue Soto. Join or die. Trying to get back in this one after conceding a break late in the first half. CJ Colicchio with the disc in the red zone now. Nice centering pass to Dustin Damiano, and here's Eric Gallagher. Lieberman faking. Pivoting. Faking again. Stall count rising. Too far for Matt Esser. Great mark there from Davidson, and great pressure downfield.
It's what I keep saying. If you apply that pressure on the mark, then that makes the job of the defender way easy, because he knows that if I got a good mark, then he's not going to throw it on that side unless it's a really hard throw. Very, very good way to communicate with his teammates on the defensive effort right there. Let's see if they can maintain that possession and learn from Coach Judy. The disc is so precious right now. They have to keep it.
Genet swings to Davidson. Looking for Keelan Way. He can't secure possession. Short field here for join or die, and Matt Esser is now 5 yards outside the end zone. He's got his receiver. That's Eric Gallagher. Beg your pardon.
Dustin Damiano.
I beg your pardon. That's Brandon Pastor. And join or die is back within 1. Second goal in as many O points for Pastor. So we get another look at the errant swing intended for Keelan Way. Pastor there applying the defensive pressure. Gallagher picks up after the turnover, hits Esser, An easy continue from Esser to Pastor.
I think that pivot, when they fake the forehand and they just get the disc over the head of the defender and then just come and throw it, it's such a master's move.
Yeah.
They love to do it. It's just fake and then really slow, just up and then throw right away. I will have to set up my throw so well to actually throw that on that win.
Mike Steffen, the former truck stop player, being set to pull for join or die. 11-10 here in the Masters Open Championship. This is a game to 15. Time cap coming at 90 minutes if the leading team has not reached winning score by then.
We're also going to have a couple truck stop guys tomorrow in the Open final with Blue Devils.
That's right. We've got Andrew Roy, Troy Holland, AJ Merriman, Tyler Monroe. Bunch of imports.
And if they win, then AJ would have had one Beach. If I'm not mistaken, he played Open, right?
Beach, Club, and Pauk. All in the same year, all in the same month. Or it's a little more than a month, but wow. What a string that would be for him. I'm sure Comunidad El Oso has.
Which are the defending champions from last Pauk in Sarasota.
That's right.
Which was a really good final against Guarao.
And thanks to our stats crew and production crew reminding us that AJ also competed with Team USA at the Under-24 Championships and took home gold earlier this summer.
Following Kayla Helton's footsteps of winning it all, or Claire Chastain with Khalif El Salam.
The triple crown back in 2022, Claire Chastain and Khalif El Salam capturing that elusive distinction by winning the World Ultimate Club Championships in July. World Clubs and then U.S. Club Championships. That is a challenging trio, but those two accomplished players getting the job done for their countries and divisions. And a lengthy foul call is resolved. Still maintaining possession here. And Greg Ellis has the disc. Here's Mike Lee. Back to Ring. Ellis up to Bellavance. Bellavance was about to throw it inside, but there was a pick called downfield.
And very intelligent mark from Rosso. Flat mark right on the sideline, pushing him to the strong side of the wind.
Ellis. How many Canadians have learned that step around backhand? I remember playing GOAT in my club days and getting terrorized by that. I did get my few blocks against them, but there it is. That's the throw. Ooh, unbelievable.
Mike Lee.
So Jeff Lindquist had the disc in a forehand grip. He took it up over the mark's head, released the high release backhand over the mark's shoulder, bobbled off the intended receiver's hand, and Mike Lee cleans up the trash. How about that?
I'm telling you, it's a veteran move. That over the top and just releasing it right away. What an incredible play. That's what I call not letting the disc die until he touches the ground.
So Mike Lee with his second goal of the half and fifth goal of the game for Still. And the Canadians 3 goals away from capturing a Pan American Ultimate Championship. Join or die needs to hold and generate some breaks if it's going to stop Still from trading out to a championship. Lieberman swinging to Ruse. Offhand backhand to Pastor. Nice crafty throw there. Lieberman gets it back. Dustin Damiano. Pick called. Brings play to a halt. Damiano marked by Janae. Nice swing there from Lieberman to Roos, and another pick call brings us to a halt.
He's calling an injury.
Forgive me, I thought I saw the signal for pick.
He did.
Prior to that.
Yeah, he did go with the signal of pick, and then he went with the injury.
And then there's the injury, so we hope Robert Roos is okay and able to walk off the field without any support. Join or die with the disc on the attacking half of midfield.
And it's something very normal to happen as we have those rules crossing from USAU to wave diff, hand signals as well too. Sometimes players do get confused, but that's all part about the spirit of the game. They all know what USAU ultimate is, and wave diff as well too.
Reset there to Pastor. Lieberman. Throwing all kinds of fakes out there, but leading Rosso to space. And was this a travel call or a stall call?
He's saying that he lifted his pivot foot as he was releasing the disc.
So I see the motion for travel, and disc comes back in on 6.
Nice break.
What a visionary break throw. 2 receivers in the area, but neither one able to secure possession inbounds. Still with a chance to break late in the second half.
Very uncharacteristic. Almost a Callahan off the bounds right away.
Oh my goodness. Still gives it right back, and join or die.
Coach Judy wouldn't be that happy. They did not see how precious it was, that possession. They need another break if we want to secure this win.
We got to get Coach Judy on Zoom to in and support this broadcast. CJ Colicchio steps around and thought he connected with Brandon Pastor. But I'll tell you what, this one's starting to slow down with a few ticky-tack calls between these teams, and I'm not a fan of that stuff happening, especially with championships on the line. I think Dwayne Neal might have called a travel
So we've got a
on
travel.
Colicchio.
What's our count at?
Yeah, saying 4. Saying 4.
Okay, saying 4. Let me step out. Coming in, stalling 4.
So Neal on the mark. Colicchio will have the disc at stall 4 once Neal taps it back into play. Nice offhand backhand to Lieberman. He's trying to bring some energy to his squad here. Join or die, still within 1.
I mean, the D-line already did its job, Ian. Now it's time for the O-line to do their job and just maintain and score every O point they get the chance. That's the beauty of Ultimate. And that's why always when I win the flips, I start on D. If you get that early break and then you start on offense on the second half and score that point, you pretty much secure the game. As long as your offense doesn't fail their job on scoring, it's like the best strategy ever. It's really hard to get it, but...
Yeah, tell that to Pride of New York in the 2021 championship game at the USA Ultimate Club Nationals.
Was that the one against Sockeye?
That was against Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire, yes.
Jesse Lieberman with an incredible head spike there. And Mike Steffen on the pull for join or die. And Joel Bellavance gets things started, sending Felix Dagg upfield. Here's Greg Ellis. Mike Lee opting for the hammer. It's a go. Lee over the top to Bellavance, and still needs 2 more scores to capture a title.
Sometimes it's a little confusing when you say the name of the team and then keep saying something else, because like still 2 more points.
It sounds like I'm saying something grammatically incorrect, right? So Bellavance with 2 goals here in the second half and in the championship game, and we had 11 turnovers in the first half and 2 breaks for Still and 1 for Join or Die. But we've simply traded here in the second half. Both teams have had multiple break opportunities. We've had some lengthy points. They've had their opportunities, but right now, second half, just staying on serve. And if Join or Die wants to win a championship, that's not going to cut it. Janae pulls for Still. Dustin Damiano catches the pull and centers to Jesse Lieberman. Lieberman pump fakes. Tries to hit Colicchio off his hands. Colicchio taps his chest right away, acknowledging responsibility for that one. Short field for Janae and company. Push pass over the top. Here's Turner. Back to Black. Looking for his man, Will Mercer. Too far for him to maintain possession, and Lieberman gets the disc back. Lieberman uncorks the backhand. Mercer versus Colicchio in the deep space. Colicchio brings it down.
2 towers jumping.
Colicchio with the quick dishy to Brandon Pastor, and yet another dirty hold keeps Join or Die in this title fight.
That's what I call resilience, Ian. They turned the disc right before their own break mark, but still managed to actually get a good D, and then at the same time, then a really, really good hug and very, very nice read and jumping for it and skying the other player.
4th assist of the half, 5th assist of the game for CJ Colicchio. And the second, I beg your pardon, the 3rd Colicchio to Pastor scoring connection. No, I beg your pardon. That was the 2nd Colicchio to Pastor scoring connection here in this second half. Get a look at the medals awaiting these championship bracket finalists here.
And a fun fact about those trophies, they're made out of recycled PET, which is the plastic bottles, and other type of plastics. It's actually made here in Dominican Republic. I actually know the guy. I supply him some materials because I do own a recycling company as well, and that guy is just doing an excellent job. They're so pretty.
That is fantastic. I would love to earn that sustainable hardware if I had the chance. Here's Lindquist shooting cross field. Can Bellavance stay inbounds? Not quite. Here's a chance for Join or Die.
Get back in the game.
To tie the game. The last time this game was tied was at 6-6 in the first half.
They broke twice, took half, and now trade-offs. Let's see if we can get that break.
Yeah, after 6-6, Still held once and then broke to take half, 8-6. And everyone's just been trading since then here in the second half, with Join or Die receiving to start the second half. Esser gets the under. Unleashes the backhand. Lindquist defending. Lindquist peeling off his assignment to get that disc back after throwing the turnover.
Rockets on those feet.
Mike Lee comes underneath. Lee pulls the trigger. Felix Dagg is hanging out all alone on the doorstep. Resets to Ken Alexander. Into the end zone for Bryce Ring. It's 14 to 12.
Now they're within one to crown themselves as Pan American Ultimate Club Champions 2023 here at Los Establos, Cana, in the beautiful country of the Dominican Republic, which I want to take the time to actually thank with the VC, COD Camp, Ultra World, the whole crew, because you guys have made this happen, and it has been a dream for all of us since actually PAUC 2019. We have been trying to get this tournament here in the Dominican Republic, and I really hope that we did not let anyone down with the venue, our attentions, and just our people here in the Dominican Republic. We're so thankful for all of you, and especially all the players that made this trip and made it happen to come and compete at the highest level here.
I could tell you it's been an absolute pleasure getting to learn more about the Dominican Ultimate scene, interacting with some of the 1,790 athletes who are here. So a big thanks to all the work that the local organizing committee has done. And we've had an absolute blast here in the Dominican Republic. Join or die, trying to stay alive, and CJ Colicchio with a towering grab for the join or die O-line. Steps out. He thought he threw the goal to Pastor, but we've got another travel call from Neil. Neil and Colicchio sharing a moment there.
Is that what people in basketball call a poster?
That was he put him on a poster. That was a posterizing moment, no question about it. Neil and Colicchio having a conversation here. Colicchio steps around, watches left foot. I mean,
I can't contest it.
Okay, so we've got a travel call. What's our?
I mean, I 7. Yeah.
And that's the thing too.
I mean, right?
That's correct.
Sure, his
so we're
toe
gonna
maybe
come install
moved
6.
like
Please let me
barely
get the
an
heck out
inch,
of
but
Thank you.
at the elite level of the game, you don't call that travel.
I mean,
you're not gaining a meaningful advantage, and yeah, that one's tough.
I'm a man of some things that are obvious, and if you're right next to me marking me, how are you looking at my feet? I've always wondered that. I mean, unless it's a really big drag over the foot, perfect. They just need to be very patient and open up the field. Right in the middle.
Black fouled Pastor, so a fresh stall count for Colicchio. And Colicchio to Pastor for the third time this half. Works out. Join or die. Stays alive. And at this point, no more margin for join or die. They must break still on this next point, or the Canadians will capture the championship. So you see Colicchio conversing with Neil and Genet. We get a look at the do or die line, pardon the pun, for join or die.
That only talks bunch of how much they trust each other, and especially CJ, to make those big plays and come up on top.
Well, here's a look at the still line. It's Dag, Ken Alexander, Joel Bellavance, Jeff Lindquist, Mike Lee, Bryce Ring, and Mike Steffen pulling for join or die. Again, the Americans have to break here, or the Canadians are your 2023 PAUC champions. Here's Dag. Deep shot from Ellis. Alexander legging it out. Oh, he hits the grass but can't secure possession. Matt Esser will walk the disc up to the line with a chance to break and tie the game.
I mean, I wouldn't complain if we get a universe point final. What about you, Ian?
No complaints here. More free ultimate for the rest of us.
Oh, yeah.
And Ken Alexander, fortunately able to walk off the field under his own power, but he does take an injury. He's limping a tiny bit, grabbing his left leg. And Antoine Genet will take his place. Beg your pardon, Antoine Genet's not taking his place. It's Carson Turner. Genet did jog out onto the field, but then he ran out the back of the end zone. So Carson Turner will set the mark for the Canadians. Esser to Colicchio. Some contact between Colicchio and Lindquist. That's a foul. Disc coming back.
This was the last matchup that we saw earlier, too, right? Colicchio and...
I think it was Colicchio and Neal.
Oh, yeah,
on that previous possession, but still a couple big guys, and we're going to get another look at this. Colicchio versus Lindquist. Lindquist went up early. Colicchio with the better read sends the disc to the end zone. Two receivers in the area. Once again, it's C.J. Colicchio to Brandon Pastor. That's the fourth connection between those two here in the second half alone. And Join or Die has forced double game point.
Yes.
Once again, Ian, we're in for a treat. As I mentioned earlier, how much trust does the thrower has on his receiver? He just put it up there and then let C.J. Colicchio do all its job. And then great recognition on putting it into space for Brandon Pastor as well, too. Great job from Join or Die. And what else to say? Thank you for giving us a universal point final for Masters Open here in Punta Cana.
So a timeout here before double game point. Both teams huddling up to discuss their double game point lines and strategies. Of course, Still's only loss of the tournament came on double game point against King Louis in pool play.
That was the same pool that Domino was at. And
Domino, the Dominican Republic team?
Yeah, which Domino is not for the game. It's actually Dominican Open.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. And I didn't know until we got to Sarasota in 2019.
So the 2019 champions in the men's Masters division all bashed out. They were eliminated here in the semifinals, just a round to go, falling 13-10 to Still. And the Canadians set to receive here on double game point. Gallagher, Esser, Pastor, Colicchio, and others taking the field here for Join or Die with a championship on the line.
Do you think we're going to see any special defense now or just man-to-man?
My money's on
man-to-man.
The safe man-to-man matchup that we've seen for much of the game. But here we are. Double game point. Joel Bellavance gets the disc up to Dag. Pump fakes. Resets to Bellavance. Canadians have worked out of this horizontal stack almost the entire game.
I love horizontal stack.
Vertical stack had its moment in North America for the last
20 years?
4 or 5 years. I would say it really came back. I mean, it's always been there in teams' red zone sets, but some teams, you know, I was on a team in 2016 that ran almost exclusively vert. That's all we did.
Here in DR, usually we were running vert all the time, and for the past 5 years we have switched into a horizontal stack. It just gives you so much space to work.
Dag with the stall count rising. Connects with Ring. Dag goes up line, doesn't get it. Ring hits Turner. Nice swing there from Turner to Ellis. This Still squad has been loath to get the disc on the downwind sideline. Off immediately to Lindquist. Dag. Back to Bellavance. Mike Lee hasn't gotten a touch yet this point. Great work by Mike Steffen on defense.
Shutting him down.
Here's Bellavance. Pumps. There's Lee's first touch. It's contested. Turner sends it to the end zone. It's good. Greg Ellis has the game winner and still are your 2023 Pan American Ultimate Champions.
What a game.
Mike Lee hadn't had a touch all point. Got it, took off, and Carson Turner, who hasn't been much of a shooter here in the final, feeling emboldened on double game point and connecting with Ellis, one of the team's leading goal scorers coming into the championship bracket. And still, with players from Ottawa and the rest of Canada, are your 2023 Pan American Ultimate Champions in the Masters Open Division.
Congratulations to the first to join or die. They never gave up in this game. They were having some trouble to move the disc, getting breaks, but right now just big congratulations for still on showing that grit, and especially, as I said, they were very patient with the disc. They were also moving the disc a lot. And again, we saw it on the last play of the game. As soon as you set up your thrower with a lot of space, it gives him so much time to just put it up there. You're going to get it. We're going to win this championship. What a great way. And I just love the communication on the sideline from the Steel players as well, too. And that sideline player is as important as the player that is inside the game.
Join or die. Definitely needs to hold its head high. That group got a break when it needed late in the second half to force double game point. And ultimately, that still offense running out of that horizontal set and continuing to break with those right-handed backhands. Just too much for join or die to deal with. We get another look at the stats here. 26 total turnovers in this game. I'd say things were slightly less windy relative to the earlier rounds today, but still a crosswind to deal with. Anything else jumping out to you on the stat sheet there, Josue?
Honestly, for me, and as an offensive player, the clean holds, 10 clean holds for Still, 5 clean holds for Join or Die, which speaks a lot on that patience that I was talking about earlier.
Well, lucky to be joined now by Still's Mike Lee, who is now a 2023 Pan American Ultimate Tournament champion. Mike, how does it feel?
You know, it's been a hard road. It's been a hard tournament in the heat. Just glad that it's over and we can say that we are the gold medal champions.
Hey, Mike, Josue right here. First of all, congratulations. You're a Masters Open champion here in the beautiful Punta Cana. Run me a little bit through, very short, like, what do you think was the key point for you guys on the second half, which was a huge trading points? Like, what was on your mentality? What were you telling your guys to do and maintain as the game was running by?
I think that, you know, on our O-line, we just needed to be reliable. We needed to punch it in, get the D-line back out there. They were getting Ds, and I knew that they would eventually punch some in. So all we needed to do is stay calm and keep scoring the points and put the D-line back out.
Mike, you were on the field both at, I believe it was 14-13 when your O-line got broken, and then you were out there on double game point as well.
Yeah.
What was the conversation among the leadership or within the huddle before double game point?
You know, it's basically we can do anything for 1 point. We just needed to work hard. We knew that that was the last point. There was nothing to save yourself for. We just needed to leave everything on the field, and either we score the point and go home happy, or we don't score the point and think about for the rest of our lives what we could have done more.
Oh my God, just a tinge of regret there. I know you're playing with plenty of teammates from Ottawa and around Canada. What does it mean to this group of guys to be able to be flying home with a gold medal?
You know, we've been successful back in Canada. We've won medals back in Canada. We had a disappointing showing in Ireland. So to come here on an international stage and show everyone that we are the best team at this tournament doesn't get any better than that.
Mike, congratulations. Time for you to go enjoy the celebrations and get back to a beach.
Okay. Hi, Ben. Hi, Maddie.
Felicidades, Mike.
Mike Lee, he and his still squad are champions of the world, champions of the Pan American Ultimate Tournament. And here's how the Masters Open bracket shook out. Still took down All Bashed Out. Join or Die took down King Louie. And then here in our finals, Still took care of business against Join or Die in a double game point thriller. Josue Soto, we have 1 day of competition left. You look back on this Masters Open final, what sticks out to you?
The best thing is just how many good throwers. It's like everybody's such a good thrower, so that's why we probably only saw one zone. And it's just really, really nice to see these players that have taken on the biggest stage before and just compete at the highest level. Very proud of the work that they all put in.
That's going to do it for our coverage today at the Pan American Ultimate Championships. Don't forget, 4 championships games coming your way tomorrow live on UltiWorld. 8 a.m. Eastern, Masters Women's Final. 10:15 a.m. Eastern, Noise versus Dragon Thrust in the mixed final. 12:30 Eastern, Revolution versus Aerosol in the women's final. And then 2:45 Eastern, Comunidad El Oso versus the Blue Devils in the men's final. For Josue Soto and our entire crew, I am Ian Toner. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great evening, and we'll catch you tomorrow live on UltiWorld.